Google Chrome is a web browser made in 2008 by Google to make a competing web browser to then popular Internet Explorer. It is now the leading web browser, but Google has some people leaving their browser for their high use of trackers, ads, and extreme use of RAM. This has led to new web browsers being created and existing browsers to upgrade their browsers, and one even making spin-offs. In this video, I will be reviewing some web browsers available right now and giving my computer a heart attack in the process. So here's a small idea of how this video is structured. I will first be giving an overview of each of the browsers, those being Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Brave, Vivaldi, Opera, and Opera GX. As you may have noticed, I missed a few, mainly Safari and Internet Explorer. I will be talking about Internet Explorer a little bit, but not Safari, because I do not have access to it. Now, in each overview, I will be talking about each browser's features and my experience with it, its customizations options, and conduct my own speed tests and compare it to Google's Chrome. After each overview, I will compare their unique features, then compare their speed against each other, and finally say what my thoughts, say their pros and cons, and we'll say who they're probably for. So let's start. So let's first start out with what we're all familiar with, Google Chrome. I'm gonna make this quick because we're all familiar with it, but Google has clinged into lots of people for its familiarity and its extensions. And Chrome is very smart with its features by hiding a lot of ones that other browsers have, like the pop-out video player. Most other browsers seem to make it like it's exclusive to them, while Chrome already has it. If you were to be watching a video, just go to the top of your tab and you'll find a little bit of a music symbol, and then if you click on that, there will be a menu which will allow you to have a pop-out video player. It has a simple customization menu, and it gets better when you realize that the extensions have tons of customization options. The biggest downside of Chrome is its extreme use of RAM and trackers, and there really isn't anything that Google can do about it because they probably use the trackers and history to decide which ads you get, which is how they make money. Microsoft Edge was pleasantly surprising, to say the least. I was expecting it to be just like a basic browser, but it was a little better than I thought. It had a pretty good aesthetic, in my opinion, and has some pretty decent features like snippet and favoriting. It also has a text-to-speech feature. Also gives access to some very toned-down Office apps, which I guess if you want it. When it comes to customization, it isn't very good. You can change the font size and that's really it. It does have a dark mode feature which actually looks pretty cool. The last thing you can change is a home tab setup, which is okay. That's really it. Edge and Chrome are basically the same thing other than the extensions and the pop-out video player. Edge is the only browser out of all of them to not have a pop-out video player, which is kind of sad. That's really it. Mozilla Firefox is the most used standalone browser and is the only browser other than Safari to not use Chromium. Firefox isn't as bad as people think it is though, because it's literally just Chrome but with a cool snippet feature in Pocket. It also has a lot of privacy and security, which makes it pretty, but that's really it. Brave is probably the most Chrome-like browser out there. It is very easy to get used to, which is pretty good. Its only unique features are its ad blocker and tracker blocker, and you can also open a video with Tor. It actually works with Chrome extensions, and there's some customization options, Actually, there's not that many. Brave is basically just Chrome, but it's safer. And they also advertise with the fact that they're 6 times quicker than Chrome. Let's see if they're right in the end of the video. Vivaldi is a very unique browser because it has tons of features and customization options, and I mean a ton. First, let's go over its features. Vivaldi comes with its own ad and tracker blocker. It also has a sidebar, and unlike Opera, you can actually add your own websites on it, and the websites render in the mobile version easily. It also allows you to look at your history, downloads, and notes. There's also a small bottom bar which allows you to set an alarm, sync in with other devices, zoom in, and take a screenshot. It also allows you to tile your tabs, which nobody asked for, but it's there. And there's also a lot of customization. Not only can you change the theme, but you can also change the corner rounding and highlight color. You can also change how the tabs look, the search engine, the keyboard shortcuts, and even the tab width. Now, Vivaldi is basically just every browser put together into one, but it does have its downsides. Vivaldi is very buggy from my experience, and whenever I try to log in or made an account on it, it just didn't work. It either didn't sync in or it just was logged out and I couldn't make a new account or log in again. Or when I try to change the search engine, it just changed to some random search engine that nobody heard of. So if you're gonna download it, be aware of that. It's pretty buggy. Opera is basically if Vivaldi and Edge had a crossover, and it's fantastic. It has a more polished look and sidebar. And the sidebar has a variety of sections. One for social media, where you're limited to only WhatsApp, Instagram, Messenger, Twitter, and whatever the frick these things are. Well, you also have 2 workspaces, which are basically 2 windows in one. There's also a music player, which allows you to play music in a different tab. There's something called a flow too, which is basically something that allows you to transfer what searches you had on your phone onto Opera, which is decent. Opera is pretty good. I know it has some sketchy stuff happening in the background, but it's still a pretty good browser nonetheless. Opera GX is the browser nobody asked. Opera GX is a web browser made specifically for gamers. Yes, I just read that out loud. Opera has some features gamers may. There's also a shortcut to Reddit. Don't ask why that's there. It also has a RAM and CPU limiter and cleaner, which is pretty cool. It also has more customization options like themes and screen animations than on Opera. And this is the most important part. It has custom music for a browser. Yes, that is the second stupidest thing I've said in this one paragraph. Yes, this browser has its own music. Opera GX is a pretty dumb browser, but it's actually kind of good. Its idea is kind of dumb, but it does execute some stuff pretty good. But just get Opera if you want a more minimalist theme. Now for this segment of the video, I will be running some speed tests. 5 searches and 5 links to test how fast they are. I will also be adding how fast my own experiences with the browsers are. And before I say the times, I want to say that the speeds can vary. You can have a slower or faster experience, and this is just my experience. So let's get into it. So to start off with the searches, Microsoft Edge was the fastest in front of Opera and Brave. Edge won with an average of 0.6 seconds. Opera was a runner-up with an average of 0.9 seconds. And finally, Brave with 1 second. In fourth is Firefox with 1.2 seconds. In fifth is Chrome with 1.4 seconds. In 6 is Opera GX with 1.6 seconds, and in last is Vivaldi with 1.7 seconds. When it came to links, Vivaldi was the fastest with Edge and Braves tied for a second. Vivaldi won with 1.3 seconds. Edge and Brave were tied with 1.78 seconds. Opera is third/fourth with 1.9 seconds. Chrome is fifth again with 2 seconds. And Firefox is sixth with 2.6 seconds. And in last place is Opera GX with 4.7 seconds. Now, when it came to speed outside of the tests, I have to say that Brave was by far the most consistent, and Vivaldi was the least consistent, because Brave did go way faster than 1.8 or 1 seconds, but really at the end of the day, it's like by less than a second, so if you can't wait that long, I guess. Let's first start it off with Chrome. Chrome has its own extensions, is pretty easy to sync with your Google account, is familiar to most of the people that are watching this, and has a very good bookmarking system. It doesn't, though, have a snippet feature. It isn't that fast, and it still has the annoying trackers and ads. Chrome is probably for a type of person that doesn't really mind the ads and trackers and just wants a normal experience and have an easy sync with their Google account. When it comes to Microsoft's Edge, though, it has its own Office apps. It has synced to your Microsoft account if you really want it. It's very fast and has its own Chrome extensions, and has a tracker blocker which you can customize to each site. But the cons about it, though, is that it doesn't have too many customization options, and it's the only browser that doesn't have a pop-out video player and still has ads. Edge is probably for you if you have a new Windows computer and just want a Chrome-like browser, then you can just stay with Edge instead of trying to download Chrome. Next is Firefox. The good things about it is that it's extremely safe. It blocks any ads and trackers and just extremely secure experience all around. And the downsides about it is that it's pretty slow, to be honest, and it doesn't run Chromium, meaning that you won't access some sites, right, that are Chromium only, which is just bad. If you're really concerned about your privacy and want a little bit of a Chrome-like experience, just switch to Firefox. The next browser is Brave. It's extremely fast, it's really easy to change to, it has an ad and tracker blocker and runs extensions. It's basically just Chrome, but just looks a teeny bit different. There just isn't any account sync, and that's the only real downside. If you are interested in anything else, you just want a better experience with Chrome, then switch. Opera is next with a very polished and effective sidebar, tons of features, and it's surprisingly fast with them, which is surprising. It has an ad and tracker blocker and a VPN, which apparently isn't one. I'll link an article in the description talking about it. There's no account sync, and it's kind of hard to get used to. That's really what I can get them for. If you like a lot of functionality and speed, then Opera is for you. Next is Opera, with it being an Opera reskin and having a little bit more customization. It's hard to get used to, which is the thing. It's even harder than regular Opera. But even if you liked Opera GX, you're not allowed to use it because it's for gamers. Last is Vivaldi, with an extreme amount of customization options and a custom sidebar. It also has an ad and tracker blocker, which you can customize which websites you block ads on and trackers on, which is pretty neat. It is very inconsistent, though, and is very buggy. Vivaldi is probably for someone who likes a very unique experience and doesn't mind the bugs and inconsistencies with the speed. So that's the end of the video. Thank you if you made it the whole way. This took a very long time to make and edit, aka 1 month. I know the editing's pretty scuffed with some weird stuff happening here and there, but I'm getting used to my new editor and stuff. I promise it will get better. Follow up on the browsers with some that I found on mobile and a bit more of an in-depth guide on the browsers you saw in this video. So if you want more content like that, like and subscribe, and see you guys in another month. I don't really have an upload schedule yet. Bye!